Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Friar Talk. Today we're going to be discussing the MLB trade deadline and what kind of feels like maybe not a dead deadline, but one that didn't really see a superstar get moved or anything like that. I guess you could say Justin Verlander, but he's not what he used to be. But I think nonetheless that is a good move for the Astros. But let's talk about the Padres real quick. If you guys have any questions or any comments regarding the trade deadline, no matter what team it is, let me know in the comments and I'll get to it. But obviously. Let's talk about the Padres real quick. Rich Hill and Ji-Man Choi. It seems like that move moved the needle for a lot of people, and I will say for me, it did not move the needle. I still feel like this team is a mediocre team. I mean, they're a team full of stars. Xander Bogaerts, I don't like him, but Manny Machado, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., Trent Grisham is doing good. Ha-Seong Kim is having a stellar month or two. I mean, these are guys that, of course, can go on a hot streak where I think they need to win like 36 games from here on out in order to get to 88. So they can do it. But the inability to win 4 games in a row puts a severe it hampers them from being able to do that. They need to be able to win 4 in a row or more in order to get to that. Like, I think in order for me to fully believe that they can be a playoff team, I need to see them win 6 in a row or something like that, because winning 3 in a row and then losing the first game to the Rockies is not going to cut it. Kyle Stelter commented that we still need another bullpen arm. That's exactly what I want. We still have 2 hours until the trade deadline's over, so we got time. But it's very frustrating because we need a bullpen arm so bad. And Rich Hill, I think he's going to come in for Michael Walker for at least a little bit. And that leaves us still with no bullpen arm. So I don't exactly know what they want to do in terms of how they're going to arrange the bullpen or how they're going to get a better bullpen arm, because you can't keep just relying on Josh Hader as your only reliable bullpen arm. Tom Cosgrove has been pitching pretty solid. But other than that, it's like there's a bunch of guys that you kind of have question marks around. Robert Suarez is solid. I think Steven Wilson will still be pretty good, but you really need another bullpen arm. You need to solidify the pen, because there's games that your pen itself blows. And I think throughout the July, there was like of the 10 games we lost, there was probably a good 4 or 5 that I think could have been won if the bullpen didn't blow it. So I think one bullpen arm would really help and make me feel better about this trade deadline. But as far as Rich Hill goes, above a 4 ERA, career 3.93 ERA, has like 2 or 3 pitches. I guess it's not the worst thing. It's better than throwing Ryan Weathers or Jackson Wolf, something like that. It's better than throwing one of them. But at the same time, it's not exactly a move that you're excited about. Ji-Man Choi is actually I think someone up here said it. Let me see. They said it's like a low-key move. Let me see. Choi's a low-key move. Dude, I kind of agree. He hasn't had many plate appearances this year, but he hits for power, and I think he's a good DH. The average really isn't there, but I think his career OPS is above a 750. That's a significant upgrade from, at the time, Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter. A really good deadline would be somehow getting rid of Matt Carpenter, but I also don't see that happening. Troy's a good move. I don't know. I feel like the Padres need to be, I said this yesterday, they need to be like on a 600 win percentage pace from here on out or more. And I don't know if that move exactly does that for them. So I'm kind of curious to see what AJ Preller is going to do for these next 2 hours, because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of traction for the Padres. And the Phillies just got better. They added Michael Lorenzen. The Giants made a trade yesterday for AJ Pollock and someone else with under a 700 OPS. That's not a move that moves the needle either. I'm trying to let me see the other teams that are in the NL wild card race with us. The Diamondbacks made a move for Paul Sewald. That's a really good move, in my opinion. Other than that, it doesn't really seem like anyone's made any moves. The Mets have given up Max Scherzer and sorry for all the noise outside. I don't know what's going on out there, but the Mets have given up Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer and dumped off a lot of money to go along with them, but they brought back some pretty good prospects. And when we talked about it in my group chat with Matt and Chase, we were kind of discussing, like, it makes me a little uncomfortable that the Mets are selling and they're only a game back from us. So we're 5 games back. They're only 6 games back, and they're full on selling, and we're still buying. I don't know if that's the best move for the Padres. I know it's a risk, and I want them to be all in because I want them to make the playoffs. But it's also a risk. And, I was talking yesterday and I was saying Preller needs to make moves that, makes it known that he might be out of a job if the team doesn't make the playoffs this year. And I don't know if that's exactly the case, if that's how it's going to go down. But yeah, that's not a move that really moves the needle for me. It's a minor improvement, and maybe we only need minor improvements. But I mean, somehow, some way, we got to get Xander Bogaerts out of the position where he's batting fourth or fifth, because he's getting way too many opportunities to bring runners in, and he's not cashing in. Yesterday, grounded into 2 double plays, and then in the ninth or the 10th inning, bases loaded, grounds out to the second baseman, runners out at home. We don't get a run in that inning, so something absolutely has to be done. Xander Bogaerts cannot be batting in a position where he's consistently going to have runners on. He's got to be in a position where no runners are going to be on, because he's not hitting for power. He's only hitting singles, so I don't think that really helps us right now. Maybe Ji-Man Choi can plug into that 5th spot or something, but it's not a good move to keep Bogaerts somewhere in that spot of the lineup. Let's see. I see Trent is a problem. I mean, he hasn't been that much of a problem lately. He's gotten cold. I will say he's gotten cold, but he hasn't been that much of a problem lately. Honestly, we were talking about it yesterday, and I was saying it might not be the worst idea to trade him while his value's up, especially off a hot month, or at least half a month. But I don't think it's really that much of a problem right now. I thought I was the only one who disliked Bogaerts, not solely because of yesterday, but he did. That's the thing. That's what I told Matt. Matt's in, I think, France right now, so he can't watch the game. But I told him that I feel like Bogaerts single-handedly lost that game. The market is insane, though. I like not overpaying. You still have to entertain for Snell and Hader. Yeah, they still got time. They still got time to give up Snell and Hader. Maybe that's scary. Maybe that's not for some of you. It's scary to me because I want to keep them. Hader less than Snell, but yeah, the market's kind of insane right now. So if they were to sell those two, it's not exactly the worst move. I'm gonna be refreshing my phone almost the whole time trying to see if the Padres make a move, but right now it's just Rich Hill and Ji-Man Choi. I see that apparently the Padres really like Tommy Pham. You guys know I don't want if you guys have been listening for a while, you guys know I don't want Tommy Pham back. I can't do it. I can't stand Tommy Pham. Oh no, I really don't want Tommy Pham. Do we know who's starting today? Yeah, it's gonna be Pedro Avila today. That's essentially why we made the Rich Hill move, because we can't afford to keep starting Pedro Avila. We can't afford to keep starting Ryan Weathers, Reese Kinnear's on the IL, but Reese Kinnear at one point. Jackson Wolf before he got traded. We can't afford to keep starting those guys. That's why we made the move for Rich Hill, because he at least gives us a better chance of winning than those guys. Carpenter probably gone soon. I would hope so. I mean, I would hope that a team's willing to take him on. We need to get him off this team ASAP, because it's not doing us any good to just have his salary and him sitting on the bench not getting any playing time. We need to get him. I completely think we need to get him off this team. I would take Will Myers over Carpenter. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I mean, it's kind of a silent trade deadline. I was talking with someone earlier, and we were talking about how, like, last year Juan Soto was on the market. Josh Hader got traded. Brandon Drury got traded. There was a bunch of, like, pretty big names that got traded last year. The year before, it was like Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, Jose Barrios. A bunch of guys that have been big names before. Year before, of course, for us, it was Mike Clevenger. And for other teams, they got some pretty big names as well. This feels like a little bit more mild of a trade deadline, unless you consider Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander still as good as they once were. But I mean, it's still a pretty solid deadline. It's not boring exactly. Where's Azokar? Azokar, I believe, is either in AAA or he was on the IL. Definitely one of those. Let's see. Just looking at all these comments. Coach John wants Charlie Blackmon. He said he's coming off the IL this week. Then I looked at Blackmon. Please don't listen to Coach John Quintera. Please. I beg you. He's not good. Yeah, don't listen to him. But I don't know. I feel like there's still some names out there that the Padres could go get, whether it's a bullpen arm or a bat. I mean, I guess Tommy Pham's going to be in the books, or he's going to be a potential guy that the Padres could go get. It seems like the Padres really like him, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went to go get him. I don't know what they'd give up. Tommy Pham's having a really good year. I don't know where they'd plug him in, but I guess he would be someone that you could add in the lineup and be pretty. If I remember correctly, does pretty good against lefties. But I think we need to focus on a bullpen arm or another starter because Rich Hill doesn't exactly move the needle for me. The Brewers are getting Andrew Chafin from the Diamondbacks. I'm just refreshing to see what moves are starting to come, but it seems like these next 2 hours are going to be some pretty busy hours. Harrison Bader, he's going to be staying in New York, it looks like. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but he's out of the lineup today, so there's some speculation. I don't know, but we can pass on. Yeah, Joseph, you're a longtime listener. You know that we really don't like Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham's he's just a clubhouse cancer, in my opinion. Maybe some of the guys in the clubhouse that played with him still like him or something like that, but I can't really get myself on board with adding Tommy Pham. Nonetheless, having a really good year. I have a hard time believing that he'll come to the Padres and still maintain that pace. Yeah, but I mean, I still think a bat is needed. Of course, yesterday the Padres putting up only 2 runs in Colorado, which is actually kind of unfortunate because Fernando hit multiple balls over 100 miles per hour. Juan Soto got sent on an absolutely ridiculous play. There was just some instances where you could say like the Padres probably could have scored more runs if the ball, if it went their way, but it didn't, or if they even made a better decision, such as sending Juan Soto home when you didn't have to. But they could have scored more runs yesterday, and they've actually quietly been one of the top offenses in baseball the last month, but it's kind of inflated just because they put up a lot of runs in certain games. You're looking at a team that like is very inconsistent, and it's mainly because like Fernando's gotten extremely cold. Xander Bogaerts is hitting nothing but singles, and that's not what you really got him to do. And it'd be cool if he was still batting like around his career average was at when we signed him was around 300, but he's not. So it's not really moving the needle for us what Xander Bogaerts doing. Yeah, I don't really. I know, especially the bottom of the lineup needs improvement. Like, there's a lot of things that the Padres need to do, and I'm kind of scared because we're still 5 games back, and the other teams they're cold. They're not doing very good either. But it's not like we've exactly made significant gains in order to catch up on them. I think we've gained 3 games, something like that. When in reality, you could have won more games if you had better bullpen arms, if you had just hit one more guy in, something like that. And it kind of stings when you think, why haven't we signed a bullpen, or why haven't we traded for a bullpen guy? Why haven't we gotten a better bat? I guess I'm just kind of used to these past few years where the Padres have been really aggressive at the deadline. And I know they don't need to make any crazy moves. I just want like little improvements. Ji-Man Choi is a little improvement. Rich Hill, he's an improvement over the guys we were throwing out there, but I really want a bullpen arm. I think that's my main focus is the Padres need to go after a bullpen arm because we can't, like, it seems like every one day we're throwing Steven Wilson, Robert Suarez, and Josh Hader, and then the next day we're stuck throwing Luis Garcia, Tim Hill, Nick Martinez, guys that haven't been good as of late. So if we can add another bullpen arm, at least we can get one of those guys out of our pen, and we can significantly improve our chances of winning, especially late in the game when you got someone like Martinez giving up the lead, someone like Hill, not only pitching wise but defensively is giving up the lead. We can't afford for that to happen anymore. So I definitely think we need to get a bullpen arm. And Joseph Delgado, yeah, Joseph, you're saying it for sure. I mean, maybe I'm the only one of Matt and Chase and I that think this, but realistically, we've talked about it multiple times. If you don't sign X, you could still have Ha-Seong Kim at shortstop, Jake Cronenworth at second. You could have signed a first baseman, done something that made your team better. At the time, don't get me wrong, we were excited just because we were like, damn, like, Jake Cronenworth is going to move over to first and defensively is going to be great. And hopefully he can still provide, around a 750 OPS. Absolutely not happening. Ha-Seong Kim's been great at second, but it's really discouraging knowing that Xander Bogaerts is set on playing shortstop. He doesn't want to move positions, and it doesn't seem like we're willing to move him down in the order. And for some people, it may seem like I'm giving up on him after 4 months. It's not that I'm giving up on him after 4 months. It's that with the position that the Padres are in, quite a bit of it can be because Xander Bogaerts went on an extremely cold stretch when he came back off the aisle. And I'm not blaming that on him. I understand there's problems with his wrist after he got hit by Spencer Strider, but he went on a significantly cold stretch, is one of the worst hitters with bases loaded this season, and is one of the worst hitters with runners in scoring position in general this season. And his defense has been pretty solid, but yesterday made a error that cost us 2 runs. So overall, Xander Bogaerts, it feels like has hurt us more than helped us. I think next year he'll be fine. That's the thing, is I think he'll be great next year. But right now, it's just not. He's not helping us, and we're in a position where we need to win. What, 30, 36 games from here on out? It doesn't really seem like he's helping us win 36 plus games from here on out, unless he actually starts hitting for power. He has like 3 home runs since the start of May. He's not. It's not helping. Let's see. I wish they went with Drury to play first base or something. I do too. I thought Drury was a really solid addition last year, and I thought, especially for the price that we paid, it was around the price of Matt Carpenter. I would have loved to keep Drury, but Choi at first, Cron at second, and a platoon of X and Kim for the sake of some days off could potentially be good. I agree. Except for Kim, I want him in the lineup at all times at this point, but a Cronin, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like they're going to be willing to platoon Xander Bogaerts. They're probably saying like, well, he's consistently throughout his career been around a 300 hitter and one of the best players in baseball. So why are we going to take him out of the lineup? I get it. I get it. His career says that he'll be fine, but we're in a position where we can't just rely on career numbers. We need immediate production, and we're not getting that. And someone in here is going to say like, he's been hot as of late. His average is this. His OPS is this over the last month. Look, none of it comes with runners in scoring position, and they're all just singles. It's not. That's the thing. Like if it's just singles and none of them are coming with runners in scoring position, to me, that's not really productive. It doesn't really move the needle for me. Let's see. X will be better next year, and we'll start playing. Yeah, and that's who I think of when I think of this Xander deal. Is Manny Machado didn't exactly have the best first year with the Padres, but Manny Machado was also younger, provided platinum glove defense. Xander Bogaerts is 31 right now. Used to be one of the worst defensive shortstops in baseball until last year. Is only going to age. Has a chronic wrist condition. I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. He's the worst shortstop on the team. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be talking about the deadline. I keep talking about Xander, but he's the worst shortstop on the team. Range isn't the best. Arm isn't the best. And hitting with runners in scoring position. Yeah, if we look at the shortstops on the team, we got Manny Machado, normally a shortstop. He came in as a shortstop, obviously better than Xander. We got Fernando Tatis Jr., obviously better than Xander. Ha-Seong Kim, as of this year, better than Xander. So, I mean, yeah, I think we've repeatedly said it. The worst shortstop on the team is playing shortstop right now, and that's a big reason why I think the Padres aren't exactly performing to standards. I hope he's better next year, though. I want to be able to hopefully one day rock a Bogaerts jersey, but that's not going to be the case right now. Our relievers will do better now that they have some backup. I'm curious because I don't exactly know what their backup is. Is it Rich Hill? Because Rich Hill's gonna slide into where Michael Wacha's supposed to be, and we don't exactly know when Wacha's coming back. Maybe Rich Hill can slide into a long reliever role when Michael Wacha's back, but I'm not really encouraged by the move because it didn't help where we've been extremely lacking, which is in the bullpen. I really think, as far as Xander Bogaerts goes, I really think it's something to do with the park too. Petco is held to hit in. Maybe it's just the move from the AL to the NL, hitting in Petco. The expectations that come with being, a superstar player for us right now. Um, I don't know. I think he'll be better next year, but right now we're focused on this year and making the playoffs this year. And this is our last year of having Snell, like who's performing to Cy Young standards right now. Hader performing as the best closer in baseball. Um, we don't have much time left with Soto. Manny's not getting any younger. Fernando's not getting any younger. Like the thing with Xander's, we needed this now. We needed immediate production. The goal with that was let's give him this amount of money and extend the AAV because we think he'll be this good as soon as we start the year. And that's not exactly happening. So it's really discouraging when, you give him extra years to lower the AAV, assuming that he's going to be a star to start. And you haven't exactly gotten the star that you had hoped for. If you had to offer Kim an extension, what would you offer? That's a great question. I'm sure we'll talk about that at the end of the season, but he's performing amazing right now with the glove, over an 800 OPS. I'm probably giving him at least a 5-year deal, if not 7 or 8 for sure. I mean, if Jake was able to get a 7-year deal or whatever it was, I'm sure Kim could probably get a 7 to 8-year deal as well, maybe even more. Fernando would make a lot of amazing plays at shortstop. He did have a lot of errors. I completely agree. He did, but it's not like his outs above average was that bad. It's not like his runs save, defensive run save was bad. It was actually like average. Kim going to get 200 million? I wouldn't be surprised. What if Kim regresses just like Cron did? It's a great question, and it's something that can absolutely be discussed because we didn't. I mean, maybe some people saw this coming from Cronenworth. Maybe I did a little bit, but I also just refused to see the signs of, he had consistently been worse as the years go on. Kim, though, he's young. He's got amazing defense. He's seemingly improved every year. He's at an all-time high right now, like Hack said. And I want the Padres to extend him. I just don't really know if it's going to happen just because the money's been allocated elsewhere. I don't think Cronin was ever as hot as Kim is now. I don't think so either. I don't remember this kind of stretch from Cronenworth ever, but 2021 was a hell of a year. Cronin is hitting right now, though. Yes, I mean, he's getting better. He's starting to poke the ball the other way now. I think at one point his swing was just so long. He was trying to take the ball. He was trying to hit. It felt like he was trying to hit it over the right fielder's head every single time, and that's just not the hitter that Jake Cronenworth is. So it's nice to see that he's finally taking the ball the other way, shortening up his swing. I don't know. I'm just sick of seeing the bases loaded and then someone like Trent coming up and striking out looking. Yeah, and that's why, it's going to be really important to improve the bottom of the lineup. I think that's why Ji-Man Choi is not a bad move. It seems like he's just a power hitter, but it's better than having, Matt Carpenter or some crap like that. And we can't just keep plugging in Campusano and Sanchez at catcher and DH every day because they're going to need breaks. Catching is a really taxing position. We can't just rely on them to be in the lineup every single day. They need their breaks. Unfortunately, we probably need to trade Kim. Xander and Jake not going anywhere. Merrill on the way. No room for Kim because AJ handcuffed us with bad contracts. Not a bad take. It's a good take. And you're absolutely right. Merrill's going to be on the way, and Xander and Jake, they're going to be around for the long haul. But I'm not happy letting a good player walk for the mistakes that AJ Preller has made. I'm checking to see if any trades have been made right now, but I don't want him to walk. I really want him to be in a Padres uniform. The players love him. The fans love him. He's someone that you just want for the long haul for sure. And somehow, some way, I mean, I don't want Xander Bogaerts to hinder what the Padres have planned for the future. It seems he's made adjustments, and I'm one of the. If you think Cron is going to be like this, his whole contract, you're crazy. He's going to hit. I know he will. Maybe it's next year. I don't know what it's trying to say, but I think he'll be fine, man. I mean, it's just a really hard year. And the good thing is that Jake Cronenworth is not exactly like Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer did not give a damn about how he performed. It felt like he was not willing to ever make any sort of adjustments. He didn't care how he performed, and he didn't care for the fans or anything like that. So I'm happy Jake Cronenworth he wants to be good. He wants to be better. So I think he will be better. I think he'll improve here soon. I've been gone all day. What trades did the Padres make? The Padres acquired Rich Hill and Ji-Man Choi for Jackson Wolf and 2 other prospects. Let me know. I mean, it seems like in the chat we haven't really talked about that move that much. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about other moves that have been made in the MLB. Justin Verlander got traded. Max Scherzer got traded. Michael Lorenzen got traded. Paul Sewald got traded. AJ Pollock. Like, there's been some names out there that have been traded, and I'd like to discuss those. I mean, let's talk about the NL moves first, right? The Giants get AJ Pollock and another hitter under 700 OPS. Doesn't move the needle, but maybe the Giants are in a position where they're saying, damn, this trade market is really expensive right now, and we don't want to exactly go all in on a year that we don't think we can win it. Let's get minor upgrades in hopes that we can make them better and go from there. The Giants haven't been playing good baseball. They went under 500 throughout July, and the good thing for them, though, is that they went on such a hot streak throughout the month of June that itself might, propel them into the playoffs. That might get them into the playoffs as long as they play around 500 baseball the rest of the way. We're not like that. We need to play above 600 baseball the rest of the way in order to make it. We need to go on one of those streaks like the Giants had in order for us to make the playoffs. And I don't think Rich Hill and Ji-Man Choi exactly give us the best odds to do it. It's upgrades, but it's not upgrades that maybe we were looking for. And I think a lot of people are optimistic about the moves. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's the worst move. I think Rich Hill, he adds depth. He gets us to stop pitching bums. And he helps us. He gives us a better chance to win than the guys we were throwing in place of Waka. Ji-Man Choi. Finally, we can get Matt Carpenter out. He does good against righties, and maybe it's an exciting move. Career-wise, he's a pretty solid hitter. I think this one actually might help. Just Ji-Man Choi move might help. But the Phillies added Michael Lorenzen, a team that, they haven't been exactly playing good baseball lately. And a starter for them might help. I believe Michael Lorenzen has around a 3.6 ERA, so he's performing pretty well. I don't know what they gave up, but he's performing pretty well, and I think that should definitely probably help the Phillies secure a spot in the playoffs. And ever since they got hot, I kind of felt like the Phillies were definitely going to be one of the top teams or one of the wild card teams in the playoffs. They're not going to pass the Braves at this point, but a 4th or 5th seed is probably pretty safe to assume for the Phillies. Diamondbacks added Paul Sewald to a bullpen that isn't exactly very good. Definitely a really good move. He's around a 2.5 ERA. But they gave up 3 young hitters that were top prospects at one point. So I don't know how they feel about that. I don't know how people around the league feel about that. That was kind of an expensive trade, but overall for this year and next year, because he has an extra year of control, it's a good move for the Diamondbacks. Marlins, I'm not exactly sure if they made any moves. The Brewers just got Andrew Chafin. But the Brewers on the outside looking in, just like us, kind of surprisingly, because now I believe it's 2 games back of the Reds, or 1.5. And I think the Reds are going to make the playoffs. The Brewers, it's a good thing they're kind of sliding right now because we play them at the end of August. But the schedule isn't exactly in favor of the Padres. You got the Dodgers, the Mariners, Diamondbacks, Orioles, Diamondbacks, Marlins, Brewers, Cardinals, all in just the month of August. You need to be able to handle business and win a lot of these games. And unfortunately, it's not the easiest task for us right now. But I mean, adding another bullpen on would sure as hell make it a lot easier. The Dodgers acquired, I don't even know if we've talked about this yet, Lance Lynn, Joe Kelly, Kike Hernandez, and one more guy. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. But those moves don't exactly move the needle for them either, because they acquired a total of like negative 2.5 WAR over their trade deadline, and I don't know what they gave up. It seems like they're just trying to get the band back together. But overall, they're still a good team. They've won 59 games up to this point. They're 14 games above 500. We're 8 games back of them, so they're doing something right, and we're not. But yeah, it was a good move for them. The Braves got – who did the Braves get? Someone please remind me who the Braves got. I believe they got somebody. Other than that, though, not really any moves have been made. The Mets gave up Verlander and Scherzer. Seems like they're on the verge of giving up Tommy Pham. The Cubs acquired some people. I forgot who they acquired. The Pirates gave us Rich Hill and G-Man Choi. David Bednar doesn't seem like he's going to be. Oh, yeah, the Braves got Brad Hand. Pitched against us yesterday. Yeah, I think they'll somehow, somewhere, they'll make Brad Hand pretty good. I don't know if he's having a good year at this point, but solid. I mean, they added to their bullpen, which is exactly what they needed. Other than that, no one in our division or no one in the NL has really made significant moves that I can think of. But in the AL, of course, the surprising quiet team in the AL is the Orioles. I thought the Orioles would go all in. I thought they would like offer us a boatload for Blake Snell, or maybe go get Verlander, get a stud starter, maybe like Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, I don't know what. But they've been awfully quiet. I haven't even seen them involved in like any of the big names that they could be in on, and it's super weird because right now they're the number one seed in the AL. They're 24 games above 500. They have 65 wins, which is only behind the Braves in terms of the whole league. So like that's a really good team. And if you get one more guy, you're looking at a team that could be in the World Series and compete for the World Series. But I'm surprised they've been quiet. It reminds me a lot of when the Padres, in 2020, and not to say the Orioles are the same. I think the Orioles are better than the 2021 Padres, but really, really surprising how quiet they've been. The Rangers, of course, added Max Scherzer. A good move for them. I believe they added another starter too, but I don't remember. There was just a lot of trades that I can't bring up off the top of my head. Also, I don't really care about the Rangers, so I can't bring it up off the top of my head. Twins haven't made any moves. The Astros, of course, added Justin Verlander. I think that's going to be a good move for them. I know he's not pitching great right now, but if there's an organization that can help him get back to where he was last year, it's the Astros, which is where he won his Cy Young. What time's the deadline over? It's over at 3. I'm just refreshing my phone to see if any moves get made because, I mean, it's just kind of surprising how, not a lot of names have really been thrown around. Robert Murray said that AJ Preller loves Tommy Pham, something that we already discussed earlier. I mean, Tommy Pham's numbers are actually really good. Like, if you look at his Baseball Savant page, all of it is red, except for the outfielder jump. All of it is red. So, as opposed, I'm pretty opposed. Oh, yeah, Rangers got Montgomery. That's good. That's a really good move. I'm pretty opposed to bringing in Tommy Pham, but for anyone who really likes the move, I could see why someone would be interested in Tommy Pham. The Cubs did get Heimer Candelario. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good move for them. I mean, it's an improvement. Chris said, 0 for 10 in extra inning games. 0 and 10 in extra inning games, just flat out awful. Yeah, and it really felt like the Padres were going to turn the tide yesterday and make it 1-9. But they didn't, and it's been a super struggle in order for this team to win 4 in a row. They make it seem impossible, honestly, and it bothers me because I said it multiple times. They need to win around 88 games in order to get to the playoffs, in my opinion, to safely make the playoffs. And maybe fight for a 5th seed. If not, you're getting the 6th seed, whatever, who cares, right? As long as you make it. But it doesn't feel like if you win even 3 of those games, you're only back maybe 3 games, 2 games. If you're 3-7 in extra inning games, if you're around 500 in 1-run games, you're looking at a team that's like at the top of the wild card. And for some reason, they can't win these games. They put themselves in a position where they're saying, like, we need to be the hottest team in baseball from here on out just to make the playoffs. And, of course, the common saying is in order, the team that goes into October the hottest usually wins the World Series. That was the case. That sometimes is the case. Which in order for us to make the playoffs, that would have to be us. I just don't like being in this position where you're looking and you're saying in the very last game of the season, you need to win and another team needs to lose in order to make the playoffs. That's not a given, but it feels like it might come down to that. And it's not a good position to be in because, like earlier, I said the Mets are only a game back of us and they're selling. They're full on. They're waving the white flag. They're done for. We're 5 games back and we're buying. And this could be a move that sets us back for a few years. I don't know if you guys agree, but I'm not feeling too comfortable with the position that the Padres are in right now. I still think they need to make another move. Doesn't have to be something crazy, but you need to add. You need to add to your bullpen for sure. That you can't keep going the rest of the season with one of the worst bullpens in baseball from I forgot when, like the beginning of June, they've been one of the worst bullpens in baseball. You can't keep doing that. But other than that, I'll probably only go for like 5 more minutes. Nothing really crazy has gone on up to this point. It's been a pretty quiet day in terms of like, except for the Verlander one, I don't really feel like anything's really moved the needle for teams. Maybe the Mike Lorenzen trade, but I mean, obviously as a Padres fan, I want the Padres to go out and make some moves. And the thing is, we've seen names get like brought up. We've seen Eduardo Rodriguez get brought up, Jack Flaherty, Dylan Cease, Scott Barlow, Teoscar Hernandez, Dylan Carlson. None of them have been true. We haven't even heard a lick from any teams about them. So I'm kind of surprised. Like, is the market so bad that no one is willing to give up it? Like, they'd rather stay put and not improve their teams because of how the market has been shaped up, where you have to give up really, really good players in order to get really mediocre players. That could be the case. So I don't exactly know what's going on, but Hack said the Astros are going to dominate the league again, I think. Dude, I mean, if I had to put a World Series favorite, I would still go with the Astros. I think the Astros are a really good team. They've suffered from injuries, and they're still at the point where, like, they're right there with the Rangers for the second seed. And you know, I think they'll win more games than the Rangers from here on out. So I think they'll probably finish with the second seed in the AL, and they could be World Series favorites again here soon. Shoot, man. But other than that, I don't really know what else to say. The deadline's not done yet. They still have an hour and a half in order to make some trades. But yeah, we'll see what the Padres do from here on out. They need to win these next 2 games. If they go into that Dodger series without winning these next 2 games, it's going to be really bad. Oftentimes, for the Padres, for some reason, whenever they lose a series to the Dodgers, they end up going on a really cold streak. For whatever reason, they end up going on a really cold streak, and unfortunately, we can't afford to go on a really cold streak anymore. We have to win almost every single series. You need to go like on a 6-game win streak at some point, and I don't really know how I feel about it, but you know, I'm just going to keep hoping. I mean, that's all we can do. And we got to hope that the Padres make another move because, you know, a bullpen arm significantly needed. But I think in order for the Padres to get to where they want to be, Tatis needs to get hot again. Xander needs to pick his crap up. And you need to go get a bullpen arm. The starting rotation has been magnificent. They've been amazing. You know, they've been really good. And so there's just different guys that got to pick their stuff up in order for the Padres to get to where they want to be. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope the Padres make another move. I hope they give us something to look forward to because, you know, I'm not exactly feeling too confident in where they are right now. But thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully there's another trade that goes down that we can talk about.